what they saw a couple weeks ago or like a month ago. So I just try to, power dunk it every time to put even more fear on them so they don't want to jump at all.
TCL is a proud sponsor of the SKOR North Studios. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
I love Ant Edwards. That guy's so awesome.
You know what? We have been absolutely blessed here, and I can't believe I'm saying this, in this godforsaken sports town with some unbelievable, phenomenal young sports talent.
I have a feeling some of those phenomenal young sports talented athlete types are going to find their way into Mackey and Judd's statements today, as we do on Mondays. Just a quick alert for the audience here. We are in full Vikings free agency watch mode right now. And so this is going to be a little bit more of an abbreviated edition of Mackey and Judd as we put our eggs in the purple daily basket today. Like, we're literally on we're recording this as the tampering window opens. And so we're just on high alert for breaking Vikings news. Judd has already reported that the Vikings are a finalist for former Seahawks cornerback Shaq Griffin. So that's a thing. But boys, why don't we start out with some statements on this Monday? And by the way, powered by our friends at Whamatech. Whamatech is here to help you with your broken down phone, tablet, or laptop. If you have been frustrated by some of these winter sports teams at times, waiting for that beacon of light, that young shining star to save the franchise, and maybe you cracked your phone in the process. I don't know. Well, Whamatech sources pre-owned devices directly and passes the savings on to you guys. They'll even buy your old device for cash. Buy, sell, trade in, whatever you need. Whamatech.com. That's Whamatech.com. We'll go Judd, Phil, Dex. We'll go around the room a few times here. Statements from the weekend. Judd Zolgad.
Okay, so considering what we saw on Friday night at the X and then on Sunday night at Target Center, I'm going to go with a statement that I actually put out on Twitter on Friday at some point. Kirill Kaprizov of the Wild and Ant Edwards of the Timberwolves need a poster, and you can throw Justin Jefferson on it too. That's right. These three need to be on a poster that kids can hang in their rooms. And hell, there will be some adults that hang that same poster in their dens. When it comes to those three, here's the thing. Here's statement 2 off of that I love. Not only are these exceptionally talented young men who are very good at what they do, but, and we have seen guys that don't do this, they love to play the game that they play. They all look like they're having a great time. They all make it look like a lot of fun. Those three, some marketing genius somewhere needs to put those three together on a poster and start selling it, because it will roll off the shelves.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I feel like about a year ago, it was like, all right, who's the rising star for the Wild? I guess Kaprizov's going to be here at some point. And the Timberwolves, you're like, okay, well, Karl Anthony Towns, but he's been around for 5 or 6 years and just doesn't seem to have that leadership quality that an A superstar caliber player has. And the Vikings always have, like, Dalvin Cook for a while, but it really does look like, with the three guys you just mentioned, that there is a new era, and there is a nice little 5 to 10 year window here for all three of those guys to just own this town right now, along with Miguel Sano and Byron Bucks.
Stop. Have you seen three guys at the same time who come here and not only excel, but look like they're having a great time doing it? Like, they look like they're enjoying this. This is fun for them. Mm-hmm. It is so refreshing to see players that look like they understand the opportunity that they're getting and embrace it. It is, and Kaprizov too. This is the best part. When fans are allowed back in the X soon here, and hopefully that place will be filled after not too long, watching him in person is unbelievable.
It's insane.
Like TV, it's good. But when you watch him away from the puck and all of the things that he does and his combination of strength and elite skill and just the talent, my God, you talk about worth the price of admission. Kirill Kaprizov is worth the price of admission.
Yeah. All right. Statement number one from me here sort of piggybacks off of what Judd just said. Anthony Edwards had his signature game last night, and in the process, put 2 future Pro Basketball Hall of Famers in the spin cycle and embarrassed them. What a game from him last night against. Now, Carmelo Anthony's not quite the player that he used to be, but he's still a key player for a team that's going to make the playoffs and maybe do some damage, right? And Damian Lillard, another first ballot Hall of Famer. Dude, like, he was taking step back threes over those guys last night. He was posterizing guys in the paint. He even did the Carmelo 3 to the head taunting as he backed away from like his 4th 3 of the game.
That was fantastic.
I love it.
I mean, he has, and I think if you watch him the last couple of games too, just what Chris Finch has been able to really hammer home with him since the All-Star break. Now, he got a little 3 happy at times last night, and he had a couple heat checks, and he was making them last night. But the fact that he's just barreling his way into the paint and getting to the rim, it's that Dwayne Wade game. And he's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's a better 3-point shooter than Dwayne Wade was at that point in his career. I loved what he brought last night, and the fact that it seems like too he's like the spiritual leader of the team too. Karl Anthony Towns is the most talented player and the best player on the team, but he mopes and he complains to officials, and he's not like the beacon of positivity that people gravitate toward, right? He just doesn't quite have that personality, and some of it's the stuff that he's gone through in his life. I'm not blaming him for being a little bit of an Eeyore personality wise sometimes, but like when Ricky Rubio, who got sent to the line about 100 times in the final 90 seconds of the game, Rubio gets sent to the line and finally has a chance to ice the game, putting him up by 4 points with like 5 seconds to go. And Anthony Edwards comes up from behind, just like jumping for joy, and like slaps Ricky on the back, like, dude, you just won the game with that free throw. And Rubio's like, yeah, we have 8 wins. Cool. Good talk. I just love the energy. I love the game. And I love that Chris Finch is sort of molding the game to be more efficient. And last night was the signature for Ant Edwards.
That was a lot of fun. And Jim Pete said this too, and he's exactly right. Jim Pete again said last night, I wish Cat would stop complaining because it's starting to rub off on Ant, and we don't need that. And he's exactly right. Like Ant brings... It's like Ant doesn't know how bad the Wolves have been for so long yet. And so he's not Wolvesified, which is fantastic because he still likes to win. Like those guys are like, okay, we finally won a game, right? Ant's like, no, hell no. No, we won. We got a W. It's turning around, which the majority of people with that franchise are like, turning around. You don't know nothing, but who cares? Yeah, he is without question the heartbeat of this team. Like he is its personality. And I'll go back to just like Kaprizov, it makes it fun for fans. It makes it fun for me just to watch these guys who actually enjoy this, as opposed to, oh God, it's another Timberwolves game, or oh God, it's the boring same old Wild. No, it's not.
Yeah. And you know what? Like some people might be, listening to this or watching it and thinking, you guys are so fixated on personality. I think in basketball, your game matters the most, but personality in terms of leadership and getting buy-in, and just like when you've been as down in the dumps as the Wolves have been for the better part of 15 years, and even in those 15 years, the one year that they did make the playoffs was kind of a down in the dumps, just uncomfortable year with Tibbs.
Yelling here.
Yeah. So when you've been in the doldrums as long as this franchise has been, so there are some players, most players, I think, sort of feed into that, and then it just becomes a complain fest, and woe is us, and everything's going against us. And Towns kind of feeds into that side of it. He's still wildly talented, and I still want him on this team, but he does kind of feed into like here we go again, like, I got fouled. It's like Anthony Edwards is out there as if this team's coming off 3 championships, like. He's bringing solutions to the table with his game and with his personality that I love. And it's a joy to watch. And hopefully he keeps putting up 27, 34 points or whatever and posterizing guys every other night.
All right, my initial statement. My first one, it's from it's a hockey one, similar to Judd's, but it's the Minnesota Wild are for real. The Minnesota Wild are absolutely for real. Wow. I know they've beaten up on some just horrible teams in the bottom of the West, and that's deserving. You should beat up on them. But they take 2 in a row against the Vegas Golden Knights. They also make their ends meet against Arizona. I saw a stat from our friends at moneypuck.com, which is an analytics site, and they've taken a bunch of factors like expected goal rates, your save percentage, and right now the Minnesota Wild have the second best odds to win the entire Stanley Cup. Let me repeat that. The Minnesota Wild
How did they get there?
have the second best odds. Well, Buzz Killington.
I like
think this
them,
is
but
great.
they're not there yet.
I saw some tweets.
Don't rush it.
I saw some tweets like that. Yes. Well, Vegas isn't in there, so I don't know if I consider that to be really that great. Well, okay, Buzz Killington. I think this is awesome that the Wild have the second best odds to win the Stanley Cup. You have your young players like Kirill Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson Ek and Kevin Fiala stepping up. Capo Kakinen is also playing well. Cam Talbot shuts out the Coyotes and plays well in the next game too.
1 goal.
I mean, really, I know the center position is something they maybe should address, and by maybe, probably should address.
For sure.
But there isn't a weakness on this team. There really isn't a strong deficiency on this team.
No,
I'm all in.
on.
The Wild are for real.
Well, they are, but they don't.
My statement.
The center position's pretty
I'm
damn
in.
important.
I'm all in. I am leaning into this.
Wow, Judd, M&J drops page. We need the hot take police. It's somewhere like in the second column on the left there.
It's a hot take.
I just want to reiterate. Declan just said there is not the way you did that was clever though. You said, they've got this gaping hole at center they should maybe address, but other than that, they don't have a flaw.
There's not a hole in the head here.
Hot Take Cops is recorded on location with the men and women of sports talk. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in Hot Take Court.
All right, kill it. Okay, so, all right, flesh this out. You don't get to say that without. So I will say, in defense of Declan, the Wild has the 6th best goal differential, too, in the NHL right now. They're just 2 points behind Vegas in the Western Division right now. And they have an above 500 road record as well. I think sometimes road success can be telling as to like how sustainable are your winning ways. So, all right. So defend your position. You think that they have no flaws and they're the second most likely team to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, the second best team to win the Stanley Cup. They're definitely the second best team in the West right now. I would say Vegas is better. I'll give them Vegas is better. They're deeper. They've been there. They have players around there that have done that. But I look at the West and how weird things are getting in hockey this year. You have to expect the randomness, okay? So the randomness is also helping the Minnesota Wild. This is going to be a good thing. You'll continue to beat up on the bad teams. You're going to put yourself in a good position to be in the playoffs. If you get, and especially if you get the legitimate center, I don't see how you couldn't be completely all in on this team.
Okay, let me say this. Your statement is absolutely correct. They are for real. Like, they're a very nice team, developing as well. Where I can't buy in is saying they don't have a weakness when they clearly do. They have weaknesses.
Okay.
The center position is a problem.
Victor Rass disagrees.
They have a power play that we were celebrating yesterday because it's operating at like 8.7%.
That's fine.
So there are weaknesses, but they are for real, and they're a fun team, and Kaprizov takes them. That's the only problem. If I could fix hockey people, and by that, coaches and players, the only thing is I'd love to turn off that chip in their brain that doesn't allow them to rave about certain players, because Friday night they're all like, yeah, but Kaprizov's line was fantastic too, and they all played a great game and blah, blah. No! You got one player and he's a bleeping superstar, okay? Like, just tell me he's a superstar. Here's Dean Evison. I'm talking to you. Here's the line. Without him, we'd be sunk. What do you think? Okay? That's the line. Not, we're all played great. It's fantastic. No, you got a superstar. And by the way, good for you. 20 years in, you deserve one.
Since February, since they hired Dean Evison.
They're very good. I do like them.
Since the Wild hired Dean Evison about a year ago, the Wild's 25 regular season wins are the second most in the NHL. Only Vegas has more.
Wow.
Yeah, they are for real. They just have weaknesses.
I'm all in. Leaning in.
You
Old
can't
tweets
not
expose
have
me.
a center.
Old takes expose me.
No,
I'm all in.
You might be right.
Amazing. All right, Judd Zolgad.
All right. Off the Edwards point, but to extrapolate it, I'm going to tell you this. Because Finch has used a bunch of different combinations. Like, he's trying to find what he likes, and I think he's actively trying to see players at different times. The Wolves off Finch's combinations are at their best when they go young and exciting. And by that, I mean McDaniels, Noel, Vanderbilt at times. But Karl Anthony Towns should play a ton. I like Nas. But when the Wolves go with, super stabilizer, leader, Ricky Rubio, right? Like they sort of slow things down and teams allow him to shoot and don't care. Jalen Noel is fun. And I think he's for real. And I would start him and play him a ton. But the Wolves, when they have guys like Noel, McDaniels, Ant, Cat on the court as a positionless basketball team, gentlemen, they are a fun team to watch. And it's been a while since I have felt like the Wolves as a unit were a fun team.
Yeah, and they've
not fun.
The Wolves, we've talked about, the Wolves have a lot of just smart bloggers and podcasters and people who break down film better than I do. And the biggest knock on Ryan Saunders, and ultimately the reason why he got let go midseason, is because the Wolves roster is better and has more intriguing players than the output was suggesting. Like the record, and they would just get beat by 20 points, 30 points on a regular basis. And that carried over into the first 5 games after the firing too. But once Chris Finch, who's known as a brilliant X's and O's coach, and the biggest question is, okay, as a head coach in the NBA, how well is he going to be able to connect with the younger players and communicate? Because it's one thing to be a coordinator and an X's and O's guy. It's another thing to be able to put your arm around some of these guys, either to talk them up or to put them in their place. And it's the communication part of it. Well, the Blazers are no joke. I mean, I don't think the Blazers are going to win the title. I think the Blazers are probably on that second tier of teams in the NBA. And the Wolves have played them tough, and they beat them last night. They were up by 14 points with 6 minutes to go. And you start to take a trip up and down the guys who played well in that game last night. And Judd, he is, and McDaniels was out from with COVID protocol last night, so they didn't even have one of their best young players last night. But Chris Finch has been able to take some of these young guys, put them in situations where they can thrive more. Ant Edwards, probably the number one beneficiary of this. But Jalen Noel, maybe one of the third or fourth beneficiary of this. So I'm with you on that one. It is kind of interesting that Karl Anthony Towns seems to be in some of these Chris Finch coached games. Sometimes he'll be featured to the point where he triple double but like last night, he only took 9 shots in 40 minutes and committed a bunch of turnovers. And sometimes it seemed like he was mentally more distracted by bad calls than actually playing the game. So that's something to watch, sort of the ups and downs of how Karl Anthony Towns operates in this offense. But yeah, it's a fun bunch, and now they're finally sort of maximizing some of the young player potential here. Real quick, before we get to the next statement, a quick shout out to some new friends of the show. We've got new friends on Mackey and Judd, and I don't know how much this applies to Judd because PXG makes very nice golf clubs. Declan and I are not great at golf. Judd, the last time he golfed was on camera like 3 years ago, and he did win the Judd Athlete Challenge.
Yes. I retired, unretired, and then immediately retired again.
Yep. So Declan and I are still active golfers. We are trying to become better golfers. And as part of that, PXG Minneapolis is a golfer's paradise. Right now, they're stocked with PXG's newest goodies, the new Gen 4 golf clubs, drivers, fairways, hybrids, irons, PXG's flagship clubs, and hands down the best performing sticks PXG has ever made, which is saying something. So if you want some amazing clubs, if you want apparel to look sharp, we can get Judd some golf apparel, some PXG apparel.
Oh, I'd love some golf apparel.
Stella would love it. Stella would love it.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm all over the apparel.
I know it's a different brand that he wears, but get some Ricky Fowler orange from head to toe for Judd and the PXG.
Yeah. I'd look like a big grapefruit.
We should get him one of the little.
I'd look like an oversized orange.
We should get one of the Bryson DeChambeau little hats that he wears.
I could do that.
I would see it. Little Bruce Arians,
both big guys.
Little DeChambeau, Bruce Arians.
Me and DeChambeau, yeah. We're both big men.
So if you're into apparel or amazing golf clubs, visit PXG Minneapolis in Southdale Center and find out more at pxg.com/Minneapolis. Also, Federated Mutual Insurance Company has been a partner on Mackey and Judd and Purple Daily for a number of years, and they've been partnering with business owners in the state of Minnesota for over 100 years. Federated recently launched My Shield, the online client destination for risk management resources, industry resources at your fingertips, industry resources that can help your business reach another level of success. Find out more and get registered at federatedinsurance.com. Click on My Shield or download the app. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. We're trying to keep the Vikings conversations on this show a little bit more big picture because there are so many things happening minute by minute, and Purple Daily is going to be all over those. But my next statement is a Vikings-related statement. Fix your offensive line before you fix other things. But it sounds like, as of the recording of this, Judd is reporting the Vikings are a finalist for Shaq Griffin, who's a cornerback, and that they're interested in the 2 Cincinnati defensive ends in Carl Lawson, Dunlap and Lawson. So I think if you have a chance to fix your offensive line with Joe Tooney, spend that money first and then bring defensive players in second. But Mike Zimmer is going to Mike Zimmer, and I don't know if that's exactly what they're going to be doing over the next couple days of legal tampering. We'll see.
Yeah, and it's also a case of right or wrong, the Vikings perceive themselves, because of Zim and Spielman's contract status, as being in a win now, must win, right? So you're going to have some moves here, and they're great fun to talk about. And if they come through, they're fun to watch and they're fun to pontificate on. But I think if you really sit down and think about it, there is a question: is this the right move for a franchise that had some hopes for 2020 and fell apart, and basically now is going to take the formula of trying to run things back with an improved roster a little bit, and if it doesn't work, people are gone. So like, there is a discussion. There's a big picture, a 10,000 foot view discussion to be had here about if this approach is the smart and right one. But in typical Vikings fashion, and this is a credit to them too, it's never boring. Like, they're always involved in something, and this is why what they're doing right now, guys, is exactly why they so rarely have that 3-13, 4-12 season, right? Because they're always good enough to avoid that through moves. But the question is, are you building yourself up to be a Super Bowl contender, or are you building yourself up just to be competitive? And a lot of times it's the latter, not the former.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Amen. I think real quick, just to answer Judd's statement or reaction to my statement, I think they live in fear almost of being 3-13, and it keeps them 9-7, 10-6, and 1 and done in the playoffs. And they don't oftentimes take the step back that's necessary to reevaluate, reset, draft a quarterback or whatever it may be to get to Super Bowl success. But they're going to try it their way again this offseason, and they're going to run it back as much as possible and reload. And then we'll see if people still have jobs in about, 10 months from now.
That's really well put. That's very accurate.
All right, Dex.
My second statement, it is: the future is now, old man, end quote.
Quit talking to me like that.
And it could be directed to Judd. It could be directed to a lot of people. But you look at right now in the state of Minnesota sports, okay, I'm talking Kaprizov, Fiala, Ant Edwards,
Palmerville,
Danzler, Kirilloff, Rooker. I mean, the future is now. You got a bunch of young players who are elevating Minnesota sports, and it's phenomenal to see. Obviously, forgot to mention my guy, Jaden McDaniels, too, in that group. There's a bunch of young stars across the entire board right now in the Minnesota sports scene who are making things fun. And look, the old guard was great. You need veterans here and there. Obviously, you need to supplement your roster with some veterans, but with the way things are trending on all fronts right now, with the Wild and the Twins and the Vikings and the Wolves, the future is now, old man, and get used to it. This is it. This is the new norm, and I love to see it.
Yeah, it is a blast. I don't. Sorry, go ahead, Judd.
Oh, I said patience, my young friend. But I mean, it's fun.
It is fun.
It is fun. I am not for 1 second going to rip the fact that it feels like, even if they're not prepared to pop completely, that there are a few teams, mostly probably the Wild and Twins, that feel like that they're getting there and that they're seriously competitive now consistently. Of course, that does include the Twins finally winning a playoff game.
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah. All right, Judd, you're up next.
All right. Let's see here. What do I want? All right. You know what? I'm going to go with a baseball statement because we draw closer and closer to opening day. Maeda will start for the Twins. And if you guys have looked at the Twins schedule, they will open against the Brewers in Milwaukee, which leads to my next statement, because it is going to drive Declan and mostly Phil absolutely crazy when I make the statement. Major League Baseball's decision to abandon the DH in National League parks for this season means that Nelson Cruz will be a pinch hitter in the Twins season opening series. He will be. I don't think there's any way in God's green earth that you can shoehorn him onto the field. So one of the Twins' most dynamic players will open, and it'll be short. I get that. But nonetheless, opening day will be a pinch hitter extraordinaire.
God. Yeah, because you know what baseball needs after last season where they had labor disagreements and they argued about how to divvy up a multi-billion-dollar chunk of pie, and their favorability ratings went down, and now we're going to come out of this exciting March Madness period and NFL free agency, everything. All right, baseball, now it's your turn again. We need the number 4 starter with a 183 batting average taking his hacks instead of Nelson Cruz. We need Kenta Maeda standing in the corner of the batter's box out of fear, watching 3 pitches go by instead of Nelson Cruz. All right, baseball.
Thielen can't play opening day because the AFC has rules against more than one receiver being on the field. That's what that is.
I know. It's amazing. But
Thielen is ineligible for, you know what? He can play a couple snaps.
Listen, I'm preparing for the 17th straight year for my in-depth 16-team fantasy baseball season, and I feel like I'm one of only 100 people that plays fantasy baseball.
You moved to Seattle, just drop out.
No, I love the league. It's a fun league.
Crazy League?
I love the Crazy League. Phil Mackey story. Phil's book. I love the league.
But I feel like there's less excitement and less intrigue going into this baseball season than really any baseball season in my lifetime. That's what it feels like. Anyways, Dex, go ahead. I fired my 2 main statements. You go ahead.
You got it. Mine is Kent, and this goes without saying, but after him being named the opening day starter and his performance so far in the spring, it's Kenta Maeda is your ace. Obviously, everyone always wants the Twins to go out and sign big bucks, and hey, why aren't they in on Trevor Bauer? Or why aren't they in on maybe making a big trade for a Chris Archer or even a Blake Snell, I should say. But at the same time, Kenta Maeda was the runner-up for Cy Young last year. He's off to a great start this spring. He is your ace. And look, the Dodgers, for God's sakes, it's insanely frustrating as it is cool watching them just crap out or just put out pitching talent. Dustin May is basically their 5 starter, and Dustin May is an ace on 2/3 of the league.
That man has better salad than you do, Declan.
That's fine.
Dustin May's salad is awesome.
It's one of the few times I will wear another hair gene, or I will give props to someone else who is not my great mop of hair, which I got cut on Friday and I look great. But at the same time, I do pay a lot because I'm bougie, and you get what you pay for. Okay, if you want to go to a lower tier haircut place,
what did this one cost?
Before tip or after tip?
After tip.
$85.
Oh my God.
$85.
Oh my God. Get off this show.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm glad you're gone.
But here's the thing.
Let's get AJ.
This is another statement.
He's a normal guy.
It's another statement in a statement. I get a haircut every 10 weeks. That's 5 times a year. That's really not that much money. That's not that much money. It's 5 times a year. If I get a haircut 5 times a year, every 10 weeks, it's 52 weeks in a year. That's not that much money. It's not that big of a deal. Get what you pay for. Okay, so
you pay $400 a year for hair work.
Yes, and I gladly do, man. You think this happens overnight? You think I can roll up looking like this? No, I can't. This takes care. This takes product. It takes someone's great hands to be. I will follow them to the ends of the earth for what they do to this mop of hair. From here to here, I don't have a lot going for me.
Have you ever? I just want to see how worth it is. Okay, have you ever landed a date or another date because let me run my fingers through your hair?
I will say, well, how do I want to phrase that? I will just say my hair is a good complimentary piece to who I am. Let me just say that.
Oh, why? Okay? Why did we go there?
Okay, that's all I got to say.
Oh, my God.
That's all I got to say.
Oh, no.
I might be.
So we just hijacked a Kenta Maeda statement and turned it completely into me, but that's totally all right. By the way, Kenta Maeda is your ace. And yes, I pay a lot for haircuts.
Real quick here, there's been a million breaking news nuggets because we're recording this as the NFL tampering period opens up. Pat Elfline has a new home. Pat Elfline has reached an agreement on a 3-year, $13.5 million contract, including $6 million fully guaranteed with the Carolina Panthers, according to Adam Schefter. Your guys' thoughts?
What are the Panthers doing? What are the look, Pat Elfline, I still will say this, was a good rookie center who suffered 2 devastating injuries that year and was never the same. Okay? Like, just call me. Hey, how's Elfline? Broken down. Okay, thanks. Bye. There's your conversation.
Oops, we give him $6 million guaranteed.
Why? Like, I feel bad for him, but he's broken down.
Feel bad for whoever the next quarterback is in Carolina. It's not going to be my guy, Teddy. Teddy, get out of there, man. Get out.
Any final statements from you guys before we peace out of here?
Oh, yeah, I got one football one, okay? It involves the Vikings' chief rival. My statement. The Packers' decision to re-sign Aaron Jones, a running back, to a 4-year, $48 million contract probably just cost Aaron Rodgers another quality target. Like, here I thought the Packers were going the right route, right? Like, Aaron Jones, you've been great for us, but we've got guys who we could pay a lot less to because we're going to pursue another quality receiver to pair with Devontae Adams. And guess who's going to benefit? The quarterback who's been ticked off at us for a year plus now. And instead, you re-sign a running back to a big contract. What? Why? What are you doing?
They're doing it, I think, out of fear of irritating Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was loud and clear at the end of the season, right? When they got beat in the NFC Championship game, and he's basically like, I've got a lot of things to think about. Team's got a lot of things to think about. I think they're paralyzed now by, we really screwed this up last year when we drafted for the future. So now let's make sure that we don't let star running back go into free agency. Well, it's like they're getting it all backwards. They should have drafted a receiver in the first round last year, and they should have let their star running back walk and sign somewhere else. So good for the Vikings that the Packers keep making these ridiculously stupid missteps. Now, having him in the lineup for 2021 is going to be problematic for the Vikings, but long term, and the Vikings have the same problem with Dalvin Cook's contract, but yeah.
If you're Rodgers, okay, wouldn't you have thought, okay, the running back was really good, and now he's gone, so now I can finally get another receiver? Like, that's the whole thing is, and they're like, oh, no, the Vikings Dalvin Cook idea, that's the way to go. It's a run-first league. I'm sorry. I don't understand that thinking, and I don't understand continuing to put your eggs in a basket, that if I have that quarterback, to me, like, I want a good running back. I don't need a great one. What do I want? Another target for him. Can you imagine if they had Devontae and a second guy who was damn good? What a nightmare that team could be. Yeah. And instead, they're all like, oh, no, he'll make do with this guy and that guy and that guy. And he's basically been telling them for how long now? How about we get me some more help? And they're like, we got you a running back again. I just confuses me.
By the way, Joe, why don't you just tweeted something out here during the segment here. We've had Shefty bombs throughout the morning. Why don't you drop a Judd bomb here?
You want it? Do you want it? Okay. So the legal tampering period, it is 11:45 a.m. right now, or 40. The legal tampering period began at 11 a.m., so offers could be made at that point. The Vikings, I'm told, have made an offer to Griffin. They have made an offer to Carl Lawson. And not surprisingly, Joe Tooney on their radar in a big way. But the problem is he is getting a ton of calls. And I hate to be Buzz Killington here, but Joe Tooney is going to get offers from teams that have just a ton of cap room. So he would literally need to think that your team was on the precipice of winning a Super Bowl, probably to take your contract.
Yep, and that's fair. There are other guards available. Zeitler was one of them. And so that's interesting that he came right off the board and the Ravens swooped him right up.
Yep.
If the Vikings could wind up with a defensive star and still wind up with one of the guards lower on the board, but still, like, I'm just looking at my guard free agency rankings here, boys.
Got the big board out, Phil?
I've got the big board out here. I've got on profootballfocus.com. I've got it sorted by guards. I've got offensive guards, defensive pass rushers, and cornerbacks all on one list here, and it's glorious. Our guy from the Steelers, can't remember his last name, but he was like 96th overall on Pro Football Focus's board. And so like they could wind up going down and finding someone who's not as good as Tooney, but who's a lot better than Dakota Dozier for a lot less money than Tooney. And so maybe they've already, maybe these initial, if there's 10 teams and 5 have more cap room or all in on Joe Tooney, then maybe they've already pivoted. Like this might be moving that fast in the first 45 minutes.
Fast and furious. And furious. And there is another NFC North team in on Tooney. So there's competition there from within the division from a team that the Vikings would probably really rather not have him go to.
Yeah, the Lions are really just a tough spot to see.
The Detroit Lions don't scare you because they're going to break kneecaps. Like what the Lions are going to do in 2021 is they're going to break kneecaps.
Yeah. By the way, Matt Filer is the name of the guard that I was trying to think of here. Projected by Pro Football Focus to get a 2-year, $12 million contract from somebody. He's been ranked 32nd, 19th, and 35th out of 80 qualified guards the last 3 seasons, Pro Football Focus. So not a star, but a lot better than Dakota Dozier. And if you're moving Ezra Cleveland to left tackle, you might need both guard positions to be filled. So that's a name to keep an eye on, I think, in the second wave once some of these big contracts come off the board. So, boys, good statement session there. We had a hot take police pullover. We had Declan talking about how his hair helps his dating life.
A lot of Declan hot takes in the statement.
$80 for a haircut.
85.
85.
They should sponsor you.
You
should go to them and get a sponsor. You know what, men? Don't be afraid to get that elite haircut.
You need to take care of your scalp and your skin, okay? I've been trying to tell Judd this for years.
My zit's gone.
Well, yeah, but because you use Dial Bar soap on your face.
It's not Dial Bar soap. It's a body wash.
I just smother
it on there.
This is your head. This is your face. This is your body. You don't put the body wash up here, man. You don't put shampoo on your legs. That's the equivalent of what you're doing.
Or do you?
No, you don't.
Do you shampoo your legs?
There's nothing like a good shampooing of the legs, is there, Phil? Just a lot of shampoo because there's hair there. You can
we're gonna wrap the show on that note. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Legal tampering. It's legal tampering.
Please subscribe to the SKOR North and Purple Daily YouTube channels, and please check us out on the SKOR North app. Which, by the way, we gave $100 this morning to Paul Geifer from Minneapolis. We're doing $100 a day to someone who opens the SKOR North app from now until March 26th. And that person will also be entered to win the $10,000 prize pack from one of our 9 partners. So, Paul, thanks for hanging out with us on the SKOR North app. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.